Welcome to CrossTalk, your 7th Plymouth District edition, featuring State Representative Alyson Sullivan. This is kind of a debut program. She's been on the station before. She's been on Whitman-Hanson Community Access prior, but this is as she's been sworn in, and she's kind of gotten acclimated to what things are going on up at the State House, and we're going to have her on a regular basis to kind of chat about what she's working on, some of the things that are going on. Welcome to your very first show as State Rep.
Thank you.
Here, anyways.
Yes.
How's life treating you?
It's good. It's great. Yeah. It's everything that I expected it to be and more. I love the busyness of it. I love meeting new people. I love talking and working with colleagues on trying to figure out ways to get things done. But it's great.
Let's jump in the time machine for half a second here and go back to earlier this year, getting sworn in. Mm-hmm. What was that like?
So it's a feeling that's like really hard to describe because my father. Let me kind of take you back, and I think a lot of people do know is that my dad served this seat 23 years ago. Mm-hmm. So I found out the day of swearing in. I walked into the leadership's office and I, found where my seat was going to be, and my dad turned to me and said, "That's my seat." And I said, "No way." And so when I got down to the chamber, we sat there and I had my dad sit with me because it was a very, very, very sweet moment. My mom was also there, and I had my grandfather and my siblings, so it was nice. It was definitely a very special moment for us. So the actual swearing in process, though, it was a few tearjerkers, that's for sure.
What was it like to look over at your dad from time to time and to see the proud look on his face? To look at your mom and see the proud look on her face?
It was all worth it. That's the feeling that I had. To see the joy and that excitement in them, and to know that they've succeeded by, me succeeding. So it was great. It was great.
Voters probably don't realize that what a new representative goes through in the early weeks as you're getting acclimated. I mean, because the process, it continues on. You talk, especially the House, it's every 2 years, there are elections. Mm-hmm. If you're new, we kind of huddled in with a bunch of other representatives. What was that like?
It was great. You're in a hearing room. We're in the basement. We were in B1 and B2. I was in B2. And you're with the other new reps, new aides, and you're kind of in a room and you're sharing a computer with your aide. You feel like you're going back in time at that point. So you're playing musical chairs, whoever needs to be in the desk or actually on the computer, and who can do work either remotely from a laptop or reading bills or legislation. But it was good. It was really nice because you had the ability to get to know your colleagues and your freshman class, and they tell you you're gonna remember your freshman class for the rest of your life type of thing. Right. So it was nice because in the morning everybody's friendly. It's no longer us versus them. It's no longer Democrats and Republicans, progressives and conservatives. It's not that. It's people. So I did enjoy that very much.
I think the number I heard, it was a round number. I know it was like 23, 25, 26. Is that
new reps?
New
I
reps.
believe it's 25, yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Was like anybody you gravitated towards? Have you found a couple of different individuals that are like-minded as some of the issues and items that you're going to look to focus on during your time up at the House?
So, there was only 3 Republicans that were elected, including myself. Mike Soder, Rep. Soder, he actually sat right next to me in the bullpen. So him and I have a very close relationship. And he has ideas that I didn't even think about, and I think they're great ideas. And he also feels the same way about me. So I think I'll have a really good working relationship and a friendship as well with him. There's also reps like Liz Miranda in Boston, who I've had conversations with and talking about where we can improve our criminal justice system. She might have a different viewpoint than me, but that's where you're going to find common ground, is when you don't always agree, in finding out ways that are going to work. So, there's great new people that are coming in, great new minds and ideas. And I think it's going to bring a whole new look to the House of Representatives and as we know it.
Now, usually it's a waiting process to finally get your own office. Mm-hmm. Some folks wait longer than others. Mm-hmm. Have you yet been given a home yet?
So I have. I entered my home last week. It was nice. I'm in a nice little cubicle in the basement, so I didn't go far from the bullpen.
B2.
Yes. So I'm behind it. So if you walk in the entrance in the basement, you kind of have to walk around the hearing rooms, you'll get to my office. So I have a nice little cubicle there.
Okay. And what was it like as far as picking an aide? And this, I think, there's a story because
There is a story.
You got an aide, and then before you know it, new Republican leadership in the state. Mm-hmm. You lose him. You don't necessarily lose him. He graduated to former Rep Lyons, and talk to me about that.
So Jason, he's great. He's from West Bridgewater, and he was definitely a great asset to the team going in. And his knowledge was something that you couldn't get from a new aide because he worked there under Jim Lyons for a year. So he knew his way around the building, knew his way around the process of bill filing, and kind of he had a one-up on everyone else where he became the go-to person in the bullpen. So other aides, freshman aides were coming over asking him, where to go, what to do. So I think it made him feel good as well because he had that knowledge. Jim got elected onto the chairman for the GOP. So I know him and Jim also have a very good, close working relationship and personal relationship. So the opportunity came about, and I told Jason, there's no way I can stop you from, pursuing your dreams. So he took that position. Luckily for me, there were still some people that wanted a job. So I ended up hiring a young man named Curtis, and he's great. He's a graduate of UMass Lowell. He lives in Lowell right now, so he's not in the district, but he's eager and willing to come to as many events in the district. So I think everyone will definitely be getting familiar with him.
I think you actually mentioned that maybe what we'll do is maybe from time to time
have him on the show. I think that would be great.
The program.
Yeah, definitely. And that way there, he can kind of give his viewpoint from an aide's viewpoint. And he's a great young man. He's super nice. I think anybody that calls the office will be able to attest to that. So
I think that's an interesting dynamic. I don't know of any other shows
that have
access-wise that have it.
You better not tell any of my secrets, though.
No. But that's what's good about being able to, have a conversation prior, maybe a production meeting. Okay. Mm-hmm. And go from there. No, I think you'll be in good hands, and I think it's going to bode well knowing that your former aide is somebody who's working with Jimmy Lyons.
Oh yeah.
That does that not help you
I think
as
so.
some you have kind of an in on GOP leadership?
Yeah, I think Jason and I have a great working relationship. He's still local. He's still in West Bridgewater, and he said he's still willing to help out on my campaigns in the future. So it's no bad blood at all there. So I think it'll definitely be an asset to me as well.
Talked about, did you have a chance? Because again, you're getting acclimated, and I believe that the bill filing period was like, boom.
You blinked and it was over?
Blinked, it was there. So did you have a chance to author any bills or at least look at other bills and put your signature to them and join others?
So there were a few bills. I think we submitted 10 bills, if I'm correct.
Wow.
I talked to people within the district. I also talked to people within the county. So 2 of the bills that I filed had to do with the House of Correction in our Sheriff's Department and to making sure we're protecting people that work in our Sheriff's Department when dealing with violent offenders in the sense of having assault and battery within the jail and making sure it's a way we can deter inmates from assaulting personnel within the facilities. Another one that I filed was more local for East Bridgewater because I heard time in and time out that the intersection on Route 18 in Spring Street and I believe it's Central, like the 5 corners, I believe
Is this in Abington or
Nope, East Bridgewater?
Oh, right.
So if you're heading towards, if you're going south.
Police station?
It's near the police station. Yep, where you normally take a left to go to the police
CVS
station.
is down
yes,
this
yes. So I've been hearing complaints about that intersection for a while. And it just so happened that me and Jeff and I had lunch, or I think it was breakfast, like a late breakfast.
Former Rep Deal.
Yes, former Rep Deal. Yep. He gave me his input on what to expect, and it was within the first couple of weeks. And as we're leaving the restaurant, we see an accident right at the intersection. So it's a very tough intersection, and I know there's been some back and forth. So I did a bill for that to review it and to see who can fix it and who's liable to fix it. And then another one I filed with Josh Cutler over in Hanson. Yep, we wanted to add stabbing to the attempted murder charges because there's a constituent of his that had a unfortunate situation where she was in a domestic violence situation, and stabbing didn't constitute attempted murder because it's actually not written in there, which is surprising. So we filed that, and then I also filed jointly with, I filed in the House, and then Senator Timmelty filed it in the Senate, a bill to allow police officers, when they're responding to the homes of people with substance use disorder, to allow the police officers then to give the family members or friends, close friends, Narcan, and to train them how to administer Narcan.
Wow.
So there's a couple few, there's more. We could.
It's only a half-an-hour show, folks. It's only a half-an-hour show.
So there's a few, and then there's some that I actually co-sponsored that I definitely feel strongly about. Rep. Whalen, I believe it is, and hopefully I'm not misspeaking because I don't want to take any credit away from anyone, but he filed a bill to protect kids that go to camp. So I know we have our summer camps here, and it will allow the camp to find out if someone's registered on a sex offender registry. So whether they're level 1, 2, or 3, and that way we're keeping our children safe when they're going to a summer camp.
I think the one thing that kind of sticks out to me, knowing that you share a school district with Rep. Cutler, I mean, you're already working with him early on, which is fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's what we need to do. We need to have a very close working relationship because we do share that school district. And if we both can advocate on behalf of Women Hanson, it's only going to benefit Women Hanson. So.
I know one of the other things that's important is committee assignments early on.
Yes.
How did you do in regards to committee assignments?
So I did great. I think somebody was paying attention to the campaign.
Okay.
I got assigned to the Joint Committee on Judiciary, Mental Health, Substance Use and Recovery, and then also Personnel and Administration. So it's not as fancy as the other two, but it's still important.
And what are those committees? What does it entail to be a part of those committees, and what are some of the things that are discussed?
I mean, the Judiciary, it's going to be a busy committee, and I heard it's one of the busiest. Ways and Means is the top one, and then Judiciary comes close second. So it's going to be criminal justice review. I know there's a huge issues on the way the criminal justice reform went. The fact that police officers aren't able to arrest children, I say children, but young adults, when they commit a crime under the age of 18. So there's this conflict there on the way the wording was done. So I know there's a push to change that to allow the ability to arrest, to then have them go into court, but then also have the option to still have a diversion program in place. So that's the intent, is to divert these young people that might have made a mistake, but we can't do it if we're not able to bring them into court and to be able to go through the diversion programs as well.
So I guess the next thing I would ask is if there are future considerations for committees, are there any that weren't considered that you hope to be on the list, say, next legislative session?
I mean, education would definitely be one of them. Ways and Means, I would love to serve on that.
Huge.
It would be, and it would be a benefit. So my hopes are still there, and who knows what's going to happen.
I guess I would ask you, what has it been like to get acquainted with your colleagues on the South Shore? Have you had a chance to? You already talked about Josh Cutler. I know that there were a couple of other freshman reps. I think Patrick Kearney.
Yep.
Kathy Lenatra.
Yep. Great people.
Just to name it. Did you have a chance to work with them at
all
yet?
Kathy, I haven't been able to. Her and I are planning on meeting up for some coffee and to discuss some priorities within the Plymouth County area. Rep. Kearney is a great young man, very, very, very bright. He's also in the news. Everyone's seen him. They did actually a piece I think it was the Patriot Ledger, did a piece on him and I. So, yeah. So he got spotlight, and it's funny because his mom actually served with my dad.
That's right.
So it's definitely a small world right there. So
Mary and Lewis.
Yeah. So his mom served and my dad served, and now we're following in their footsteps. So, but it's great. They're great people. They're passionate, and I think they'll do great work.
You've done other media. I actually got a chance to watch you on Channel 5. What was it like going up to a Boston TV station and discussing what you're doing as a member of the legislature?
It was crazy, I guess you could say. It was definitely a new experience. I was very nervous. I mean, you remember the first time I was on your show. Imagine me, going up to Channel 5 and knowing that I was going to be on there. But Janet Wu is great. Ed's great.
Ed Harding's a great guy.
Yeah, he did like to tell everyone that I fell asleep during the Super Bowl, though. I think 3 times or maybe 4. So that was my mistake for telling him before.
All that defense was boring.
Well, I told him, I said, every time I've fallen asleep, they actually won the Super Bowl. So it was more of a benefit than, nothing. So, but they were really nice. I got 100 on the pop quiz, which was good. So I pay attention. So I'm filling my dad's footsteps pretty nicely because they did tell me beforehand that my dad was really good at the pop quizzes.
Really?
Yeah.
What did your dad say as far as seeing you? Because I know your dad has paid attention whether you've done radio or done local TV. What did he say about seeing you on a bigger stage?
I don't think he was surprised. I think he thinks that I'm just as capable as anybody else to be on that stage. So his advice is always the same, to watch it, to critique it yourself, and to learn from anything that you may have said and that you wanted to say differently, so that next time when you want to get your point across on certain issues, you get it across in a very clear way.
Okay. Well, the governor has put out his 2020 budget, and I don't know if you've had a chance, how much you've been able to digest it, take a look at it, or even hear feedback from folks in your district. What are you hearing in regards to the governor's budget?
People aren't happy.
Really?
Well, it's the education. I mean, and I understand that he always sets the bar lower and with the hopes to go higher. So, education's always been a big issue, even back when my father served. It's something that is continuously growing, and we have to realize that technology is growing. We have to realize that students' needs are growing. The good part is that he did review the school budget. They had a commission, I believe it was in 2015, I want to say. So he's looking at, increasing the funding for special education. And when we talk about, I believe there was 4 different points, and of course I'm blanking on them right now, but I know special education was one of the top ones. I've gone to the school committee meetings for Whitman-Hanson. I went with Rep. Cutler and also Senator Brady. So we did talk to them about their needs and seeing what their fiscal responsibilities are. But we need to do more for education. So I'm hoping that with the budget's the governor's proposal to increase the way he wants to increase will hopefully help these local communities like Abington, Whitman, and East Bridgewater.
We talk about a $42 billion budget. Anything in regards to, we know the big issue that we've seen for the past many years is drug addiction, the epidemic. Any thoughts on what the state's doing and if there's any further help in the budget for the epidemic itself and continuing with treatment and education?
So I think Governor Baker did propose that's going to be one of his focal points, is the unfortunate drug epidemic that's going on. I know that there is grants that are happening for local communities to allow them to have recovery centers and work for recovery, to make sure we not only educate them and help them, get the help they need, but also to further it and to make sure that they stay in an area where they can remain away from drugs. So
knowing that the governor's put forth his budget, we know that there's, I should say it's a 4-step process, because while the House is next and you get the Senate, of course, there's the conference committee.
Yep.
You can't leave that out.
Right.
That's the big one.
That's when a lot of things change, right?
Any anticipation for what's going to happen on the House side of things? Are you looking forward to that at all?
I definitely am looking forward to it, yes. Do I know what's going to happen right now? No. I know that I've had a sit down with one of the House Ways and Means representatives and talked to him about my priorities for my district. So I'm hoping that at least we can get something in the budget to make sure that, Abington, Whitman, and East Bridgewater can still do what they need to do and further their abilities.
Yeah, and it's important that you're able to speak with leadership or somebody on the Ways and Means to say, hey, this is what I care about. Are you looking more so at, touting more so local aid, or is it a balancing act with education too?
So I think it's both. I think with the governor's budget, they did go up on local aid. So there was, I think it was like a 1.5 increase for local aid. So that means more money is coming back to the communities. But obviously I'm going to advocate for more. because Whitman itself, in the town of Whitman, they're looking at some struggles here. So if I can get more local aid coming from the state to come back to the towns, it will hopefully offset a little bit of that burden. But Chapter 70 has been one of my big priorities when I ran. So even though I'm not on education, I'm not on Ways and Means, doesn't mean I won't have a voice when advocating on behalf of, Abington, Whitman, and East Bridgewater.
How easy has it been to be able to reach out and have sit-downs? I mean, it's amazing that you are, you're willing to have a voice and be vocal, where some folks might know, like, oh, I just got here, I want to bide my time. I think that's impressive.
Well, I think, you when you get up there, you realize that there's ways to do things, and there's some successful ways that might not be my choice of going, and then there's successful ways on the choice that I might go. Some people will go up there and not kind of have that voice and try to see where they fall. But everyone's really friendly. They're willing to sit down. They're willing to have those conversations. Doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get everything you want, but you can make sure that your voice is heard and that make sure your priorities are heard. I've been able to have meetings with the superintendents both in East Bridgewater and Abington, and I spoke to the superintendent in Whitman, Whitman-Hanson, at the school committee meeting. So I did make it known to them that I am available to have conversations in regards to Chapter 70 funding, and just making sure that I'm meeting as many people as I need to be able to get the job done. So if that means having meetings every single day, then that's exactly what I'll do. But the leadership team is great, the Republican leadership team. There's also Democrats that are great, that are willing to sit down and talk, because their districts are being affected the same way our district is.
Talk to me about being in district, and some of it is serious, and having conversations about finances and what can be done up at the State House. You also put in time and spend time among your constituents. Anything that you've been doing over the past couple of months to get involved and attend certain events to say, hey, I'm here?
So we are setting up our office hours. They went live a couple of weeks ago. So they are on my Facebook. We post them with about a day or two in advance, so everyone can kind of remember to see them. They'll be going out in the newsletters of the counseling and aging in each town. So we are making it known where I'm going to be, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to be accessible to people if they can't make those office hours. My email address, my phone number, it's all out there, so people can reach out if they do need to meet with me outside of those office hours. And then going to the events and going to as many events as I can, and making sure that I'm meeting people and they know that I'm available, because when they see you, it's almost like a shock factor. And I'm still getting used to being called representative, because I always correct people and ask them to call me Alyson, because I'm still Alyson Sullivan from Abington. It just so happens I'm serving in the House legislature. But we have a St. Patty's Day parade in Abington.
Yay.
And we'll be walking in that parade. And they told me I can walk in the front with other elected officials, or I can walk with the group of individuals that are volunteering to walk in the parade. So I think I might walk with those guys.
Really?
Yeah. I love it, and I love all the elected officials in Abington, Whitman, and East Bridgewater. They've been great and willing to meet with me and talk to me, but it's that excitement of walking in the parade for the very first time as a state rep for St. Patty's Day. I'll never forget walking in the parade with my dad, so it'll be an exciting day.
You'll let Dad walk with you this year?
If he's around. I don't know. He might be traveling for work.
He's a busy guy.
He is a very busy guy.
He's a busy guy. Have you been pacing yourself? We just got a couple of minutes here. It's been a great conversation with you. Have you been pacing yourself more as a marathon than a sprint, to make sure that you're getting your work in, but you're also having me time as well? What's it been like, kind of having that kind of balance?
Kevin, there's no me time. I'm still in school, so I'm finishing up it's my last semester.
God bless you.
I know. Well, I'm happy to report that last semester I was able to make the dean's list. So I did somehow pull that one off.
Not too shabby.
I was afraid to look at my grades a little bit, but it's just balancing between work and school at this point, and trying to focus in on finishing school, and then also putting all the time that I have other than that on the district.
As we wrap up your first of hopefully many programs, anything you want to say in closing in regards to how things are going, or just a hello to your constituents, so to speak?
You know, it's been going great. Like I keep saying, I'm available. So reach out if they do have any issues, if they need to talk. People have already started reaching out, and I do love it. I enjoy it. I don't mind my day starting at 6 a.m. and ending at 11 p.m. I do enjoy it. One of the longest days I've had so far was about that time span. And I called my mom as I was getting into my house, and I told her, I was like, this is the longest day I've had so far, but I love it. I do. I love giving back to the community, and this is just another way to do it.
And if folks want to reach out to you at the State House, you want to give that number real quick? And
So
of course
the
we'll flash
number-
it up on the screen.
I have to use my cheat sheet because we just got into the new room. We're in room 39,
Yep.
and the number
You
is,
just look on the screen right there.
oh, there it is. It's 617-722-2014.
Excellent. And there's an
Curtis.
extension, of course.
Yep.
And ask for Curtis.
Curtis, yeah, he's great. Everybody will love him.
Yeah, and let Curtis know that we're expecting to see him on the future.
He'll be happy. He might he'll be excited to do it.
But are we going to have him wear a tie, or are we going to do like a
I think we should do it casual.
Casual crosstalk?
I think so. I think that'd be a great idea.
Okay.
Because I'm still a real person.
Okay. We're looking forward to it. Listen, we want
Awesome.
to thank you so much.
Thank you.
First
Thank you.
show.
Thank you.
And again, thank you so much for tuning into a program like this. You've been watching Crosstalk, the 7th Plymouth District Edition. Don't say that 5 times fast. It's hard. With your representative, Alyson Sullivan, who's here. And until next time, have a great day.